I have dedicated my professional career to the study and control of arthropods.
Hello, welcome to part 2. I do realize that I spent the entire first part refuting Kent Hovind's claims, which was not my intention. However, I think it still stands. It's important because the point of this video is not to refute Kent Hovind's claims directly, but to establish that that video clip was filled with things that are simply not true. Okay, I don't care what's your opinion. I don't care if you're a Christian or a fundamentalist or an evolutionist, an atheist, a Buddhist, whatever. That doesn't affect the fact that what he said in that video was simply not true. Okay? Academic suppression of creationism could be very real, but that video doesn't demonstrate it because what the video stated was false. Okay? That if there is evidence for such a thing, that video wasn't it. So now, the reason that I wanted to establish that, now that we can all agree that that video is false, if we all agree that those facts didn't happen, look them up. I'll try to put some links in the sidebar if I can, but I probably won't even bother with most of it. You can research it as quickly as I can. Google works for everyone. But I wanted to establish in that video with Kent Hovind not being true. Why did JBBremerton believe in that video so strongly as to post the clip? He didn't just believe that this was evidence. He believed it was such strong evidence that it was worth the time and effort to post it on YouTube on his channel. To put that video up there stating, hey, don't believe that this is occurring? Look at this. And now this goes back to an old video series I had done, which is on the Right Wing Authoritarians. Bob Altemeyer, the psychologist, Bob Altemeyer's research on right wing authoritarian personalities. I'll put a link in the sidebar again to this his page where you can read the full book online for free. And I've gotten a number of his other books now. Just fascinating stuff. And so essentially, just quick summary, what he did is he devised a test that he calls the Right Wing Authoritarian scale that ranks your what he calls right wing authoritarianism. It's a whole different, a multivariate scale. But the point of it is that he found that after giving people this test and then testing them in other things, testing their likes and dislikes, testing their skills in certain areas and these kinds of things, that people that scored high on the right wing authoritarian test, first of all, tended to be, in this country, fundamentalist Christians, strict conservative Republicans, young Earth creationists, and such. However, he stated that these beliefs weren't unique to. They didn't have anything to do directly with the scale, because what he also would find is that somebody, for example, in China, that was a real, absolute, fundamental, hardcore follower of their government, a fanatic, a nationalist, would also score high on the test, but they might be a dogmatic atheist, and they also might be, absolute pure Maoist communism. Whatever. The point is that the scale in America, people with that high score tend to be fundamentalist Christians. I would suspect that if you went to the Middle East, people that scored high on it might be the more fundamentalist Muslims, for example. These kinds of things. So the score really looks at your fundamentalism and adherence, zealotry, dogmatism, and such. Okay. But one of the interesting, the most fascinating things that came out of his study was that he gave people from a wide range of scores, from low to high, logic tests, where they were asked to look at a syllogism, two statements, and then a conclusion drawn from those statements. Okay? The example he gives is all fish live in the sea, sharks live in the sea, therefore sharks are fish. Okay, now that statement is logically false, right? All fish don't live in the sea. Some fish live in lakes. Some fish live in streams. Okay? Yes, sharks do live in the sea. Therefore, all sharks are fish. So the conclusion is correct. However, one of the supports for the conclusion is completely false. And the people that were taking the test were asked, is this statement logical? Meaning the whole thing, not just the conclusion. Is the statement logical? And he found that people with a high RWA score statistically significantly rated statements like that as logical. And when asked why that they found the statement logical, their answer was because sharks are fish. Meaning they agreed with the conclusion, so therefore the logic was sound. I hope that makes sense. Other people with low RWA scores would look at it and go, well, yes, sharks are fish, but the first statement in the syllogism is incorrect, so therefore it's not logical. Okay? And he found this with multiple of these syllogisms. There seemed to be an inability. And I think that looking at this and then realizing when you talk, for example, you talk to a young earth creationist, okay, and you say, well, here's this piece of evidence here that proves that the earth is old. And they say, but the Bible says the earth is young. And you go, well, then here's this piece of evidence that says the earth is old. The Bible says, and for us, it seems like we're beating our head against a wall and thinking these people are so stupid, they don't get it. After reading Altemeyer's work, I realized it's not stupidity. It's the syllogism. Okay? The conclusion is the earth is young. The conclusion is the earth is young because the Bible says the earth is young. And so all of the logical statements preceding that, all of the illogic that leads to that conclusion is meaningless. It doesn't matter if it's true or untrue or contradictory. As long as the conclusion is agreed upon, they cannot see, high RWAs cannot see the illogic. So, to go full circle, what I'm talking about here is that I believe that people like JBBremerton, and I'm not just picking on him, it just happens to be the video I last saw about this. Even though Kent Hovind is a demonstrated liar, demonstrated to be incorrect on multiple points, demonstrated to have to perpetuate just outright falsehoods, things that are scientifically wrong no matter what your belief. Okay, you don't have to be a atheist, evolutionist, blah, 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 to believe, to know that no scientist states that, the Big Bang Theory states the universe began as a spinning dot. I mean, that kind of stuff. Okay, that's not science in any capacity. So anyway, you don't have to know that Kent Hovind is false. It doesn't matter what your belief. He's still false. But to use Kent Hovind as evidence for your belief, or to say, look at this, is because the only logic that I can see behind it is you believe in the conclusion. You believe already that science is repressing intelligent design. Here is somebody presenting evidence that science is repressing intelligent design. So therefore, what this man is saying is true. Okay? It wouldn't matter if he pulled it out, whatever. He could sit up there and give you 10 things that he just made up on the spot. But as long as the conclusion supported what you already believed, you're going to present it as evidence, and you're going to copy it, and you're going to paste it, you're going to post it on your websites, and you're going to repeat the information over and over and over again. Okay? You don't check your sources. If somebody comes up to me and says, hey, did you hear? They just found a 5.5 million year old hominid fossil, and they have like a whole family full skeletons. I'd say, wow, that's exciting news. But I would check it first, okay? I wouldn't, wow, this is great. I'm going to go post this information worldwide, okay? Because I'd say, well, that's awesome if it's true, but I need to verify that it's true. Because I want it to be true doesn't make it any more or less true, okay? Likewise, if you want, you fundies want there to be a grand conspiracy against you in evolutionary circles, and so you will use any evidence, no matter how false that evidence is shown to be, to prove that. All right, please post comments, post ratings. Thanks.